What's cracking, everybody? If you watched our big XO18 show from Mexico City, this guy will look familiar. Yep, it's Joe 3 Sheets Neate, executive producer for Sea of Thieves. How are you, Joe? Welcome back on the show.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a lot quieter today than Mexico City.
It definitely is, isn't it? It's pretty chill. Before we get started, I saw an amazing tweet from you this weekend about one of your adventures in Sea of Thieves. Can you please tell us the story?
Indeed, yeah. So when I tweeted this, I didn't expect it to be appearing on Inside Xbox. But so I was playing in an open crew, and I just joined. I was playing with a couple of kind of random strangers, basically, and one of them was a kid and another player. And we were just playing. We formed an alliance with another crew. We were taking down the skeleton fort, and obviously you've got the microphone on, and we're chatting and stuff. And then one of our kittens jumped on me, and I just instantly went, "Oh, I love you, Munchkin." And then I realised that I'd said this to the crew and the crew that we were in alliance with and the crew that I was playing with. So I swiftly just left the game, just basically.
So you were straight out?
Pretty
like,
much,
that's it, I'm done.
Yeah, I was just like, that was...
I love the mystery.
I wonder how many people heard it.
Can we see a picture of your cat on screen here?
I think we might be able to, yeah. So there's the two of them. But yeah, there they are. Very lovely kittens.
Well, there you go. Just one of the crazy things that happens on the Sea of Thieves.
Indeed, yeah. And the dangers of proximity chat. Yeah.
Speaking of crazy things, you've had a mad few weeks, right? The momentum has been ridiculous. Tell us about what's been going on.
Yeah, so we launched Shrouded Spoils kind of end of November. And just basically since then, we've just been gaining momentum. And the numbers have been crazy. Like, we've seen incredible streaming kind of success. So January, the month just gone, is our highest number of viewing hours from streaming, like, since the launch of the project. So even exceeding kind of March and April, around when we launched. We've seen our player base grow significantly too. So since November, basically, so we launched this end of November, and then during December and through to January, we've actually seen our player base kind of double in terms of our monthly active users. So more than double are playing it now on a monthly basis, and it's still kind of growing. So day on day, we look at the last 30 days, and that number's still going up, which is just incredible. Right? So it's been so cool to see how that update kind of wrapped up all the stuff we've been adding throughout the year, and really has kind of just made that world so rich and emergent. Every time you're out there playing, there's a new adventure, a new thing to encounter, and it's just been amazing to see. And so, you know, with the stuff that we've all got planned for this year, I think it puts us in an incredible position to, you know, I think year 2 for kind of Sea of Thieves can be even bigger than year 1. Right? That's the goal that we have in the studio.
Because you're almost at your first year birthday of Sea of Thieves, which is crazy and makes me feel even older than usual. But there's also been a lot of conversation in the community about crossplay recently. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes. So crossplay, like, we love crossplay, right? As a team, we've loved how it kind of breaks down barriers. It allows people to play together across PC and across Xbox. But as we look forward to the arena, which is one of the things that we're working on that will be coming to the game, like, we know that, like, because it's going to be so competitive, that some players are going to want that option to kind of just opt out of crossplay, so they get a level playing field. So for players on console with controller, they'll be able to play with other people on controller. But we want to offer that option kind of across the game, so for arena and for adventure when we bring that in. But our intent very much is that it's for adventure, which is kind of the game as it currently exists now. That's what we kind of call it. An arena will come in and be its own kind of option. We expect and want, like the majority of our players and as many players, to play together in kind of crossplay and with in that style. So, you know, and that will be how we design it in the front end, how we surface it. So it's really going to be, specifically, if you really know that you want to go do this, you'll have to go find the option and kind of turn it off for adventure, whereas we'll be a bit more kind of surfacing it to players for arena. So you know, how we design it and how we do that will lead to hopefully the kind of behaviour that we want. And so we've seen, you know, lots of conversation around this, around like, will this split players? Will it lead to kind of emptier servers? But that's not how our kind of game works. We have server migration, which moves people between servers as to keep the servers full and to keep the kind of encounters with other ships to be the right just kind of frequency and everything. And alongside that as well, we have a super healthy player base on both platforms. You know, and so I've seen some numbers kind of being bandied around in terms of what the percentage is of players on Xbox, the percentage on PC. And so we actually just kind of ran a kind of check over the last weekend. So just looking at the kind of player base. So from like 6 a.m. on Friday through to Monday. And our split is like 35% of the players kind of playing over the last weekend are playing on PC. And then I think it's 35.2%, and then 64.8% are kind of on Xbox. So you've got this great split of people across the two platforms, and that's really cool for us to see. You know, we value both platforms equally. We value all the players that are playing, and we love crossplay. But we just know with the arena coming that we wanted to offer that option. So that will be coming in. The team's working on that at the moment. We want to make sure that comes in for when that arena mode comes into the game.
Good to know, and super interesting as well. I love those stats in there. Yeah. Right, you've got an update coming tomorrow, but there's something you want to show us first, right?
Indeed, yes. So, you know, the update tomorrow is mainly kind of quality of life improvements, bug fixes, a few little things. But Sea of Thieves is great as an adventure out there and played with friends. And we really wanted to offer an opportunity to everybody kind of playing Sea of Thieves, whether it's on Game Pass, where they own it, to have an opportunity to bring some friends in and really show them what's amazing about Sea of Thieves. So we're going to play a little video, and then I'll talk a little bit more about what this is.
Nice.
There's no greater pleasure than sailing across the Sea of Thieves with a crew of your finest friends. But if for some reason they haven't hopped on board yet, now might be the perfect time for them to dip a toe in the water with our Friends Play Free offer. From February 6th to February 13th, any existing players of Sea of Thieves can invite up to 3 of their friends to join them on the waves. Whether you own a physical or digital copy or are playing with Game Pass, you can take advantage of this offer. Simply head to the Sea of Thieves website at seaofthieves.com and then go to the Friends Play Free section. You'll be prompted to log in with your Microsoft account, and then you'll be presented with 3 panels which you'll need to scratch to reveal your codes. Each 5x5 code gives one player unrestricted access to play Sea of Thieves for the duration of the offer. To celebrate this, Duke will also have a new voyage for you to complete, as well as offering you a new mercenary ship livery. So if you know someone who's still waiting to take the plunge into the waters of the Sea of Thieves, then from the 6th of February, grab your codes and get set for adventure.
Love it. So you'll be able to press gang your pals into playing Sea of Thieves with you?
Absolutely, yeah.
Good.
So.
All right, wicked. What else can we expect from the update tomorrow?
Cool. So, with this, like we talked about, we're bringing in a bunch of kind of changes and kind of improvements. One of those is around just combat. So we've seen in Sea of Thieves kind of recently the proliferation of people using what we call the double gun kind of technique, which is something we didn't design. We didn't want to be the case. And this is really where people could shoot in quick succession with 2 kind of projectile weapons and kind of basically instant kill players. So we've kind of nerfed that, for want of a better description, to stop that being possible. And we've also taken the chance to do a bunch of other kind of combat improvements to really try and make each weapon stand out and work kind of as we design. So kind of it won't be as easy to hip fire kind of some of the weapons if you're not aiming and things. It won't be as accurate. We're really trying to bring the sword into play and give the blunderbuss kind of more of a role, because we look at our data, we look at our feedback, and you know, like the balance isn't quite right at the moment. So you know, we're going to put this out there. We've been testing with pioneers. We want to test it now with our wider audience, and we're going to be looking at this and continuing to make changes and improvements. And you know, this is change, right? And so we'll expect to see some feedback on it, like we always will, right? Because people have got their muscle memory of how they play and what they like and what their techniques are. So be a bit of relearning there, but that's coming with this. And we talked about it a little bit in the video there, but we're kind of launching this new set of voyages called like Mercenary Voyages. And so for our players that have been playing, it's kind of similar to the Gilded Gifts we ran prior to Christmas, which was a really cool way to give these special voyages to players. It drove really interesting behavior in terms of people going out doing these high value quests, and then you had, you know, the people on the quest, you had people who were out hunting the seas looking for those players on the quest. You saw some really great kind of interaction between people. And so with Mercenary Voyages, the first one that's coming with this is for Friends Play Free, and it's really the perfect voyage for you to give to your friends. It gives them a tour of kind of the different trading companies and ends with the drunken chest. And so what we'll see is we'll see a lot of people out on these voyages. You'll see a lot of people with kind of quite a bit of treasure on stuff. So we'll see, is it going to drive that kind of player behavior again of the kind of people out on quests, the other people going looking, and which is what the shared world of Sea of Thieves is. But this is just a taster, really, and as we move forward, we want this to be a regular series of kind of mercenary voyages that we introduce. And what we want to do with that is just drive really interesting social behaviour between players, like drive people to different parts of the world, maybe force them to have their Reaper's Mark flag up so they're present on a map, like to go and do voyages like that. So again, you're trying to drive interesting interactions. So I think like the Gilded Gifts really proved that with something quite simple, you can drive really interesting player behaviour. And I think that's the magic of this shared world that we have, and the different motivations, right, that you've got in there of people exploring, people kind of going and doing quests, people going and looking for more combat. So I think we've got some fun plans lined up for that. But this is just the start for that, really.
I love that. It feels like you're engineering like the perfect Sea of Thieves experience for this Friends Play Free.
Yeah,
week, right?
yeah, that's the intent. Yeah, and so. And alongside that, there's lots of people stream Sea of Thieves, right? Loads and loads of our players have streamed the game, and we've had a lot of requests for people specifically to be able to kind of turn off the gamer tags of other crews that they encounter, because what you were saying, for some people like who were watching streams, they were trying to get into those streams and almost just kind of stream snipe, basically, and so by identifying, joining other people's crews and getting in. So you'll be able to turn that off in the settings now, and we're looking at other feedback as well from streamers. So there are other things that we can do. I think one of the requests we've had, which we're looking at, is can we turn off like the gamer tags of your crew as well, so that there's like just none of that stuff's visible. So I think we're looking at that at the studio. But yeah, there's a bunch of other bug fixes. But I think I'd expect a lot of the feedback, a lot of the kind of focus to be around the combat balancing and stuff. So we welcome that. We look, on Reddit, on the forums, on Twitter, wherever.
You love feedback over there, right?
Honestly, right? Like you've got to. We always want to keep growing and evolving and doing new things with Sea of Thieves, and so it's really critical that our players give us constructive and open and honest feedback, and we'll keep being open and honest with them.
Absolutely. So we mentioned it earlier. Yeah. We got to wrap it up, unfortunately,
Yes,
but we're coming up to your first birthday, March the 20th. You must have big plans for that, right?
Yes. Sea of Thieves' first birthday. I'm not on that yet. But but yeah. So it is. It's March the 20th. Amazing that we'll be out a year, right? And we definitely have special plans to celebrate. So we are going to be announcing on March the 20th. So not releasing, but announcing a kind of a mega update, for want of a better phrase. So a lot of the things we've been working on across the studio, some of which we've talked about, like Arena, like Pets, like the work that we're doing on the quest system to kind of bring a bit more story and lore and things to that. There's all of these things plus more that we're like basically the entire kind of team is working on. We're going to be announcing it. So we're going to be announcing kind of what's in it on March 20th and when it's coming. And like, so our community, of which there's a lot, and we've got all of these players that are playing and loving Sea of Thieves right now. They have to be a little bit patient until then, but trust me, it's worth it. And when I talk about this year being kind of bigger than the last, that's because I know all the things that we're currently working on and our plans for how we want to go crazy and grow this. So I know we're going long, but I love talking about the game. Right?
I know, I can tell. I could talk to you about it all day. That's brilliant. So March the 20th, so date for your diary, the Sea of Thieves birthday party. It sounds like you're going to get a pretty good party bag out of that as well.
Indeed.
Joe, always a pleasure to see you, mate.
Thank you.
Send my love back to the studio. I miss you all. And we'll see you again soon.
Cheers.
Right, cheers.